Welcome back, everybody, to date number 2. This one is going to take a lot longer than the first one because this wasn't just a date. So I'm going to call this guy Charismatic Narcissist. Fancy title, right? Aren't you glad that's not your name? So I also met this particular guy on Match.com. He talked to me first, and I was like, in reading his profile, it was like, I mean, he had it all, said it all. I mean, anything, like, for real. Anything you could want in a guy, he had, okay? I mean, for me, anyway, because not everybody's the same. Sorry, it's hot in here. This is firing me up already. So anyway, the conversation through Match, I mean, this was just messaging back and forth through there, was so easy. I was like, I've never like had that like form of connection so quickly in my life. And I was like, okay, well, this is pretty awesome, you know? I mean, and it was just small talk. There was no like, he wasn't like overly complimentary. He wasn't like pushy. He wasn't gross, you know. It was just like I would talk to my friend, but it was like but I felt this instant connection with him. And so he was actually out of town for work, and he wasn't going to be back for like, I don't know, he was going to be gone that whole entire week. So we weren't able to like make any plans to do anything or meet up. So we decided instead we're gonna have our first date as a FaceTime date, okay? And I was like, I was more nerve-wracked by that than anything, because it was like, how do you even do this? Like, I've never seen this person before, but now I gotta like see him on the computer. I don't know, this is kind of weird, right? But maybe people are actually, and it's probably normal right now during COVID or whatever, but I haven't experienced that. But anyway, so we made a day and we were like, okay, like, see you then, whatever. So we get on the FaceTime and I'm like, same, just completely like natural. Like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I've known him forever type of feeling. It was just, it just felt good. It felt like, it just, you know, I don't know. He just made me feel good. That's all I can say. And I hadn't felt like that ever in my lifetime. Never. So of course I'm eating it up. I mean, you know me, if you know me, you know that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm eating this up all day. Like, I'm falling for it, okay, you know? And so, we chatted forever. And then when that happened, it just, like, everything went from there. It was like, I mean, we were, like, talking about, like, taking trips together and just, like, doing all the things together already. And I was just like, yeah, like, feeling it all, you know what I mean? And anyway, so he finally got back to town and we were like, okay, let's plan a weekend. So I wasn't just gonna like go on a date with this guy. Like, I felt like I had already known him, you know what I mean? Like, we had this like crazy bond, and I was like, okay, so let's do it. So we had all these plans to like go ride horses and do this stuff. Well, the weather got kind of crappy, so we just decided to, or the first night we just ordered food, stayed in, like, seriously, like, he turned on, because, I mean, I sing, you know, and so he turned on, like, some of my favorite songs and, like, slow danced with me in the kitchen and just, like, whispered sweet nothings in my ear and like just made me feel like Queen of America. I'm not joking. Like, I'm like, there is nobody else in this world for me. This is it. Oh my gosh, this is what I've been wanting my whole entire life. It's like a Hallmark movie. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't happen, okay? So, and he was so like, I mean, like, almost like I couldn't, like, do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Oh, that's okay. Oh, I got it. I'll do this. No, don't worry about it. I got this, blah, blah, blah. And, so that night went like that. Well, the next morning, we had those plans to go like horseback riding or whatever. So instead, we went to breakfast, and then he took me to the shooting range, and I was like, yes, this is awesome, because I had never been before. And I was like, well, this is the perfect place to like go take some anger out or something, you know, whatever you've been holding in. And I hated it. Every second of it, I hated it. I don't ever want to shoot another gun in my life, but that's okay. That's besides the point. It just wasn't like fun for me. So anyway, we got through that, went back, went and got some food that night. Kind of off. It wasn't the same vibe as the night before. Okay, so I'm getting like this weird, different vibe from him that night. And so, but it turned out to be fine. Like, honestly, like I was like, okay, maybe I'm just acting weird, or, you know, we're just off. Our personalities are off tonight. It's fine. Everything's fine. So we go back to his house. Nothing happened the whole weekend. Nothing sexual happened all weekend. We kissed. Okay, whatever. But nothing. So the next morning I have to leave because I have to go pick my kids up. And I'm like, okay, hey, you know, like, he's like, make sure you call me when you get home. And I'm like, absolutely. And we hadn't went, honestly, like more than an hour for weeks prior. You know, not more than an hour went by where we didn't text each other. Okay, seriously. So I get off the exit, off the interstate, and I text him just to say, hey, I'm going through McDonald's to get my morning Coke, because back then, that's all I drank was Coke. So anyhow, I was doing that, and he didn't say anything, and I was like, okay, whatever. So, like, he probably fell back asleep, because we were up really late the night before. Let me take a drink on this. And, so, you know, I do my thing, I go to the drive-thru, get home, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to entertain myself, whatever. I did my thing, went and picked the kids up, whatever. Like 4 hours later, I'm like, something's not right. Something's off. So I text him and say, is everything okay? Nothing. Or no, that's not true. I said, did you fall back to sleep? Nothing. Crickets. Okay. So at 4:30 or so, I'm like, okay, what is wrong? Like, are you okay? I'm worried now. 7:30 that night, he was like, everything's fine. I'm just contemplating everything. You know, like, I go, okay, like, what are you contemplating? Contemplating, just be honest with me. Crickets. Nothing, you guys. Nothing. I got nothing. I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, nothing. I get nothing. We just spent this, like, beautiful weekend together. Like, weeks before that, we were, like, talking about all this stuff. What is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck just happened, okay? Brick wall. I am like, I don't understand. And all I want is an answer. I just want you to tell me something, okay? But he's a coward, so he can't, okay? So I'm like, I don't say another word. Nothing. 5 months later. 5 months later. 5 months. He writes me, because I'm still on match, because I lost my match, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm still out there. So he messages me and says, I know I'm not worthy, but I would like to take you to dinner. I'm like, hell fucking yeah, I want to go to dinner, because I want to know what the fuck has happened, right? I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, I don't know. Some people wouldn't, because I have mixed emotions from my friends, because, you know, I'd be asking everybody around me, like my work friends, my bank girls. I was like, okay, what do you think I should do? And half of them were like, yeah, like on my side. Half of them were like, Amy, no, like, he's a fucking total jerk. Like, don't go do that. And I'm like, I have to know, okay? That's who I am. It's my personality. So, I meet him at his house, and he bought a brand new Shelby Mustang, okay? And I was like, are we taking that to dinner? Like, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna use that. Okay, let's go. So anyway, we take it to this nice little place, And we just talk about everything. And I was like, look, you know, because at first I didn't say anything because I was like, I'm not going to put you out like that. But then I was like, I'm going to put you out on Front Street. Like, what happened? And he said, well, you know, we're all out here doing the same thing. We're all out here dating other people. And he was like, you know, I met a lady that was like closer to me and her kids were older. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. Because you knew I had 3 kids when we talked the very first time. I always make sure I tell people that, because if you're not okay with it, we can't be together. You know what I mean? My kids are always going to be there. So you knew I had little kids. That's not an excuse. I get maybe that like she's closer to you, but we're literally like 17 minutes from each other. That's not even like, that don't make any sense, you know? And I just said to him, well, how'd that work out for you? Because you're sitting here with me. You're not with her. I mean, you know. So anyway, he was like, I know, you're right, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we still had a fun time. And we went back to his house, made a fire. His pool was heated, so we got in that, had a great time. Left the next day, text him. No. He did it again. He did it again. Not that I had high hopes, but I kind of did. You know, I was still only at this point like 3 months in my divorce. You know what I mean? So I'm still vulnerable. Like, and I was like craving love and affection and all of that, and just like attention. I don't care. I'm going to say it. I needed all of that because I hadn't had it in so long. I was like, and he was giving it to me and I didn't care, you know, at that point, if it was negative or not. I wanted it. So I was going to get it. I was like, oh my God. So again, he does it to me again. Okay. So like, that was, so I'm trying to think, maybe like July of 8 or 17. Yeah, something like that. So then, let's see. I saw him again after that. Like April of 18. Yeah, April of 18. So I didn't see him or hear from him for like 8 months or whatever. And then like, we just, whatever, something happened. I don't even know. It wasn't through Match though. I don't even remember what happened. It doesn't even matter. But we just met down at the boat, had a few drinks, went home. But he took me home because I couldn't drive. And so I texted him the next morning, like, can you take me to get my car? And he was like, I'm still feeling like crap. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I just, stop. You know, stop, Amy. Just for real, stop it. Like, he's not worth your time, okay? So this went on for like a year, you know, just like whatever, on and off. Well, the last time I talked to him was like September of 18 or something like that. And I had to call it after that. Just like, I didn't even say anything to him, but I kind of just played him like he did with me. I just didn't even say anything. I didn't text him. I just left it like we are. But, you know, I'm going to tell you guys something. Like, and if it is too good to be true, it is. Like, that, I don't even care, because this situation right here made me believe that, like, to the T, because I thought I knew exactly what I wanted, and he had everything. I mean, all of it. And everybody's like, well, what is that? Well, that's my opinion, though. It's not yours or anybody else's. It's just what I would have wanted in my life. And so that's irrelevant, but he did. For me, he did. I mean, everything. You name it, it was there. And like I said, I was like in this vulnerable state, just like wanting something and craving something. And you know what? I look back and think, oh, you were so weak, you know? But it's okay, because I learned so much from that one person. I mean, I learned so much from him, and I will never, ever put myself in a situation like that again. I will not. So anyway, ladies out there, if you are dating and you're listening to the story, please take my advice. like, honestly. And if he is like, does not, like, his habits aren't like they were, like, he texts me every day, all day, and then all of a sudden, bam, he, you know what I mean? There is, just let it go. Let it go. But anyway, I know, long-winded story, but I had to get that out because that was a long one. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you for date number 3.